thumbs up for that fan service. Oh my god. That fan service, man, was just like out of the blue, out of nowhere. Especially for Rachel. It's like, god damn. Is this supposed to be a little girl, or is it supposed to be some kind of midget? I don't even know. I mean, goddamn, this vampire but shit. Yo, what is up, guys? Forgive me for the intro there. But yo, what's up, guys? It is me, Straw Ninja 89, here for me to review Blazblue Altered Memory. Well, besides episode 5, I will be reviewing the other episode, which I apologize, I haven't reviewed it. Well, basically, in that episode, really, there wasn't really any action. It was basically simple. It was just an explanation of who the squirrel lady is. Basically, the squirrel lady is Makoto Hanayo, and what she is a long-lost friend. She's a really close friend to Noelle Vermillion from back in the day, of the lieutenant days, and the whatchamacallit, the NOL, the library, the library, or whatever it's called. Yeah. In the NOL, you know, the library, the back in the day, and then the academy. Pretty much, it's like pretty much like a flashback thing, more story progression and how they met and stuff like that. Then we got Tsubaki, you know, side that deep down she really loves Jin Kizaragi, and she's had a really big crush on him ever since back in the day, and she really does truly care for this person, and well, so does Jin as well. But anyways, apparently, you know, she wants to try to find him and find out why is Haizama, you know, trying to make her do this and trying for her to go and kill her one and true love. So that's, you know, something that she's being really shocked about. So not too much action, more story progression this time around. Where, like, you know, Noelle finally meets Lychee, then she knows, like, who she is and, like, all that stuff. And, you know, of course, you got Rachel, you know, just observing like she always does. So, really, there wasn't really anything until last week's episode. Not really so much of action-wise. It was more story progression-wise. And some of the memories are starting to come back to, like, RAGNA and them. Like, he's finally getting most of his memory back. Haizama, the troll, doing his thing. You already know him calling his boy Clover, like, yo, we got the same motion, meet me in Karasuchi, let's go, let's discuss business. And that's pretty much what they did. They pretty much, him and Cloverfield, you know, they met up at Karasuchi. They pretty much discussed their business on what to do with the AZURE GRIMORE, or the cauldron thing that they're trying to bring back, and, you know, shit like that. For the continuum shift, and that's basically what last week's episode was. So if I were to give that rating of a score of an episode, I would give it maybe like a 4 out of 5, because it was actually pretty good, and it actually explained more about what was going on between, you know, like Noelle and, you know, pretty much all that. So anyways, yeah. So what happened? So that's pretty much what it'll be. I will give it like a 4 out of 5. I said 4 out of 10. 4 out of 5. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was a good explanation on what's, you know, to become, and, you know, and whatnot. So I don't remember too much. Again, that was like last week, so I'm trying to refresh my memory, because I only watched it once. So yeah. However, this episode I just watched recently, so I will give my review thoughts on that. So this will be Blazblue Altered Memory episode 5. So for episode 4, I'm not going to really get into that, but episode 5, though, however, really intrigued me. Oh, man. And not in a naughty kind of way, but, you know, we got more, again, but maybe I will add that into their review as well. If anything, I will give the score like a 4 out of 5. Now we go to episode 5, which is the recent episode. Basically, it starts off with Ragna and the gang. Pretty much, you know, Ragna's still injured, and then Tao discusses there's this actual magical cure that can cure Ragna's wounds a lot faster, because he says he's not really recovering as much, you know, resting up here, you know, and whatnot. So Tao pretty much insists that they want to go to this, like, location, the secret Tao, Kaka clan, and what happens is that, all of a sudden, Rachel comes in, and she, like, teleports him to this fucking hot spring. So I'm pretty sure Rachel already knew about this by now. So what happens is she teleports him there, and, you know, we get the amount of fucking fan service, tits and ass. We get it in this freaking episode. And basically what it is that, well, of course they're not full-fledged naked, which that is a little bit of a negative. Like, son of a bitch, I want to see at least at least some ass, man. Like, come on, just bikinis on. Okay, don't get me wrong. Bikinis, bathing suits, that shit is hot. But come on, man, really, we want to go all out. We want to go in the freaking nude, man. I mean, come on, really. So yeah. So yeah. Anyways, so yeah, so what happens is, after their little fan service, little moment there, pretty much like the hot spring is more like a catnip kind of thing. So the more you take into it, the more hyper energy you would get. And Ragnar, pretty much, he's starting to feel, his energy being more revived and whatnot. And then we get this like little comedy moment, where Lychee's acting all drunk off the freaking catnip, and so is all of them. They're all acting like crazy bitches except for Rachel, because she's like the only cool, calm one. And for a little midget, I don't know this little kid, I don't know if I should call myself a pedophile, but god damn, like Rachel is like surprising, like fuck. But I don't know. I mean, maybe she might not be a little girl. She's probably not. Maybe she's just like a short midget. I don't know. If she is, and that's one hot short midget. I hope so. It better not be, because otherwise I apologize. And I don't want to sound like a pedophile or anything like that. But anyways, after that little moment, the next key point is that at the very beginning, I forgot to mention this. At the very beginning, we have introduced, well, we already know Kokonoe, but we got introduced to another character called Tager. And Tager is pretty much this robotic machine man kind of dude. And what this guy is pretty much is a servant to Kokonoe, and he's pretty much just the guy that carries out the missions. And Kokonoe is trying to tell him to go to the town of Karasuchi and find rather the Blood Edge and study on his AZURE GRIMORE and stuff like that. And then they're also going to test out his skills, which again I'll explain at the very end of the episode what they mean by that. Then later on, after all that said and done, after the guy of the hot spring, they notice that Ragna notices that she's carrying all these two guns, like she's summoning these two guns. Like, I know she thinks that something is like attacking them or something like that. She goes, "What's that? Is someone attacking us?" And or something like that, because they meet up again. And she's like, "Wait a minute, what the hell?" She thinks that somebody's attacking them. Then all of a sudden, we see her take out these two pistols, these two guns, and we've seen her use this before in episode, what was it, 2? I think episode 2 or 3. No, episode 2 is where we actually saw this. So episode 2, when she used those guns against the Mew, was it New? I think it was New, yeah, New, that freaking robot chick. New, pretty much when she was doing that, she used these like guns to like attack, like those like guns. And Ragnar was like, "What the hell?" He goes, "Wait, do you even know what those things are?" And she's like, yeah, they're like my weapons." And then she's like, "I know," and Ragnar knows what they truly are. And then he slowly gains, that, he thinks that he represents Rachel, this kind of the same way how, like, Zoro doesn't really, appreciate the Shigi that much, because she kind of resembles, Kuena, the girl from back in the past, the samurai, Kuina. I think her name was that, Kuina or something like that, I believe. The girl from Zoro's past, the fucking girl that, that Zoro, Kuina, I think her name was, or something like that. The one that, just bear with me, people, alright? It's been a long ass time since I watched that flashback. But anyways, you get what I'm saying. So it kind of represents Saya from back from Ragna's past. So that's why he's like, "Don't you dare talk like that with that face and that, voice and blah 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 and stuff like that." So, you gotta have some emotions. Like, granted, I wish there could have been a freaking battle, like a fight, but whatever. But we are gonna see some, I know we're definitely gonna see some more fighting action, more in next week's episode, pretty much. Yeah. So anyways, in the next key scene, we see that Ragna, he meets this, like, two personality, like, child thing, and it's named Platinum the Trinity. And what she is, she's basically two people within the same body from some kind of, like, I guess some kind of, like, sealing thing, like a spell or something like that. And my fucking camera freezes, son of a bitch. Alrighty, so sorry about that, my camera froze for a sec. Anyways, what it is, and it's actually, we get this really funny scene where, one of them is called, I forget what one of them is called. I forget what the boy one was called or something like that, like the boy one. I know the second one is called Luna. Yeah, the second one is called Luna. The one that's like all, this like really attitude, happy-go-lucky attitude. Well, not happy-go-lucky. This like cocky or child. Like, it's hard for me to explain. She's like the personality of an actual brat. We'll just put it that way. She's more like a bratty, smart-ass kind of girl, pretty much. And what she's doing, she's like, stupid, perverted, leaving these children to starve and shit like that. Because at the beginning, he wasn't going to offer the food. Then, like, I forget the boy's name. He was like, this guy, he doesn't want to offer food. He's a monster. He's terrible and stuff like that. He was trying to play it off. I'm like, whoa, calm down, kid. It's like, okay, relax, man, relax. I'll give you your food, man. Calm down. So that's basically what happened. Next, also that, after that little episode scene where they're eating dinner and stuff like that, I thought that was actually pretty funny. How, like, that RAGNA always being ignored, and like, stop ignoring me with that. And she, it was actually a pretty funny moment there, I have to say. Then at the very end of the episode, we see that Tiger goes to Karasuchi and finally spots RAGNA. And then what happens is that they prove to see if he's worthy of that little. But they mentioned something I forgot to mention, a little key point thing at the beginning about his AZURE GRIMORE not being the strongest, more being the weakest. So I'm guessing this means that he has some time controlling it. Maybe he's got some of those like temper issue kind of things and he can't really control it to the max. Maybe that's what I'm getting at here. But anyways, yeah, so after that they send in what looks appealing to be like new from past episodes ago. And I'm like, holy fuck, she's alive? And then that's where we pretty much, leave off at episode 5. So overall, I thought episode 5, again, when it comes to story progression, animation, I can't complain. Animation's always on key point, so forget about that. Music, again, the music, I gotta give it to them for using it from the video games and whatnot. So yeah, using it from the video games. And when it comes to story progression, we did get a little bit of story progression, like at the beginning, a little towards the middle, especially at the beginning. That Rachel, she says like, I'm more of an observer and stuff like that. So when it comes to story progression, we only got some there, and at the very end, of course, we're getting more and more story progression, finally. And so that's basically it. So overall, I would say it's a decent episode. I would say a 3.5 out of 5. I say a decent episode this week of Blazblue. I mean, it wasn't bad, but I thought it was an OK plus / decent episode of Blazblue Ultimate Memory. So I'll give it around the decent side. So 3.5 out of 5 is definitely my rating for this episode. Again, thumbs up for that freaking fan service, man. And what do you guys think of this episode? And what do you guys think why they mentioned that his AZURE GRIMORE is the weakest one? And I guess we're going to find out more about that in maybe the next episode, the episode after that, or whatever. And again, I'm not going to spoil anything for people who haven't played the video games. Duh, obviously. So I want to thank you guys for watching this review of Blazblue Ultimate Memory. Yeah, so this is Straw Ninja 89. Over now, see you on the bounce. Peace out. Anime manga fans, keep supporting what you're reading, what you watch, and peace the fuck out. And video gamers, remember, no game is ever impossible. Game on to the day you die. Later.